Good morning, Hope Academy of Senior Professionals. Happy September. I'm glad to have you all here for this morning's meeting and our program. Well, I see we have a little podium reconfiguration. I think I was upstaged by the HASP Actors Guild. You know those actors that just have to have things their way, but I think it looks pretty nice. So I'm going to be on stage with 1, 2, 3, and 4 this morning. So a beautiful time in Holland this weekend. The weather was just great. We took a little walk over to the college for the Hope Community Day. That was wonderful. I had never attended before. It's a great event in Holland. I see we had our truck parade. There was a little walk on the waterfront, and then I think at the end there was some pancakes waiting for everyone. So it was just a really good time. This morning, we're going to start off our day with a little laughter. As the September Bulletin noted, laughter is good medicine. Now, I've seen the reACTORS perform several times, and I would agree you are in for a dose of good medicine. In fact, I would say an overdose or two will probably occur. They're just a really great group. And actually a little to coincide with this laughter and medicine, about a year ago I was talking to a HASP member, and he told me he was new to the area and he was visiting his doctor for his annual physical, and the doctor suggested that one good thing he could do was to join HASP. They were a great organization, and this would give him something to really look forward to coming to Holland. So who knows, we could be on the FDA list for approval, but there you go for HASP. We're just a really great organization. So it was fun to see the students returning to Hope. The upperclassmen and the freshman class of 2020 are on campus, and they were sporting these really neat orange t-shirts. I loved it. It said, "Anchored in Hope." I just thought that was really wonderful. And it said that the class of 2020 was here to begin the college's 155th academic year. I know we're only 150 years old. I asked 10 people this morning, and no one could explain it, so I guess we could talk about it later. But the freshman class has 740, and HASP, interestingly, is close to almost 700 members. So pretty good. Our HASP summer curriculum has ended, which included a series on Islam, affording us the opportunity to immerse ourselves in exploring the culture through our curriculum committee's planning, which even included a trip to a mosque in Grand Rapids. So now the HASP class of 2016 is back on the HASP campus, and we're continuing our 28th academic year with our fall curriculum and a record-breaking number of registrations. It's just amazing. So lifelong learning is alive and well at HASP. Some of the things we're going to look at this semester, we're going to explore the first national park, Yellowstone. We're going to hear music of Indonesia. We're going to learn about choreography. Dr. Fred Johnson returns from the college to lecture us on the Civil War. And to get us into sort of the winter mood, the geography of the polar regions was on the docket. Education of the facets of dementia, that's a good topic for science, medicine, and technology to put on. Education is power, and the more we know, the more we understand, so a good choice. The social sciences are presenting racism and slavery, and the film 12 Years a Slave will be up for discussion. And since HASP is always current, the 2016 national elections will be the topic of interest, I'm sure much interest, presented by Professor David Ryden from Hope. Our traditional Laura Verplank film series, presided over by our film critic, Jack Hyde, is sold out. And reading and discussing good books is always a great decision, which continues within our various classes at HASP, and you all have the curriculum, so it's going to be a really great fall semester. I want to take this time to say many thanks to Kim and Amy, who have been working diligently in the office and sending off those constant contact emails. Thank you. And finding these meeting spaces to accommodate all the larger classes that we're going to have has just been really great, and I think that's a great plus for us with our alignment with Hope College. It made it a lot easier to get those spaces, and this way we don't have to have a wait list and we don't have to then cancel a class. So again, thank you, Kim and Amy. In addition to our diverse choices in the curriculum, we have a 3-day trip, the first in several years, that's going to Stratford Theater Tour. It's coming up in a few weeks, and I believe that that is sold out too. If not, you can see John Bloom. But a lot of planning went into that trip, and I want to say thank you to the Special Events Committee for putting all the work into that. It's appreciated. And the program committee this morning had an excellent meeting. We have a ton of topics, and it was really hard to try to pick and choose, and our chairperson is doing a great job along with the members of the committee to see that we have some interesting and timely topics for our monthly meetings. And let's not forget our volunteering and service. I can't believe all the requests are coming in. We're quite well known in the community, you know, so for our service and our work, and we do good things, so it's great. I have one announcement to make. October's monthly meeting will not be here at Haworth. It will be held at Christ Memorial Church, the same time, and the cookies and coffee will be transported there, so that won't change. It'll be there. I don't know what time we're going to have, but it'll be there. And we'll be sending out several additions and some notices just to remind everyone. We have a lot of guests and new members this morning, and I'd like to ask Betty Vosco, the chair of our membership committee, to come up and introduce them. And I want to thank Betty and her committee, all the people who work with her at the front desk, who diligently, you know, make the name tags, make sure everyone has information, and takes care of all its members, answers the questions, has the orientation. Thank you to membership for taking care of us. And it's just a really good group, and we're happy that everyone can work together at HASP. And a special thank you to all the membership. Betty.
Good morning. This is, I've said before, a movable feast. So if I miss your name as a new member, just raise your hand, because I've got more names than I've been able to check in. We're thrilled to have Tom Arnsars back with us. He's a reinstated member. Tom, if you want to come up, you can lead the way, or maybe stand right there. Sarah Briggs, Carol Crawford, and John Crawford, Joni DeYoung, Jim Templeton, and Barbara Vandenberg. Did I miss any new members this morning? Great. So let's give them a big welcome. Thank you. Thank you. And now for the guests. Are you ready? 22 this morning. Okay, here we go. Doug Behrens, Julie Behrens, Terry Julius, Kathy Beiswinger. Did I do that right, Kathy? Bill Beiswinger, Kathy Vanderhulst, Wayne Vanderhulst, Mary O'Connor, great, Steve O'Connor, Jane Hunter. Where are you, Jane? Oh, great. Kit Leggett, Janet Heinen. I think I might have really butchered that. Was that? Oh, great. Thank you. Mary Jo Oren. Great. Julie Carey. Tom Carey. Rick Gorzinski. There's Rick. Michelle Deutsch. Okay, Ann Treffs. Where's Ann? Why am I not seeing you? Over there, great. And Steve Treffs. Judy Smith. There's Judy. And Pat Eldine. Back there, Pat. Helen Klein. Let's give a warm welcome to all of our visitors.
Okay, so now on to some fun. We have Al Viscure as a member of our program committee will introduce the program this morning and the actors. Al. They told me don't move this. Larry Lynn said don't touch it. Just to go in there.
I thought I could just tiptoe through the microphones. We members of HASP share many common interests and not a few concerns common for people our age. Most of us enjoy the arts and admire quality entertainment and great performances. Who doesn't thrill to the prospect of an 80-year-old Christopher Plummer still the master of magnificent roles like Prospero and King Lear? Many of us look for ways to keep our memories strong and viable. HASP helps us with continuous learning opportunities, and our guests engage in entertaining through Reader's Theater. Formed 8 years ago, the 20 members of the Commons reACTORS perform by reading scripts expressively rather than memorizing their lines. Like storytelling, the reACTORS say, Reader's Theater can create images that allow audiences' imaginations to soar. Typically, the group will delight audiences with over a dozen programs throughout West Michigan in a year. Today we hear from several of our HASP friends, Marie Hamilton, Lee Koopman, Larry Lynn, Tom Urbanek. Additionally, Ruth Fisher and Tom Mooney are also performing. Marie and Tom are founding members of the reACTORS, and Larry has been performing and directing with the group for 5 years. Marie and Tom also bring years of experience with Holland Civic Theater to the mix. As our performers will tell you, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Please welcome the Commons reACTORS.
Where does an older active actor go when area theaters seem to produce plays with most of the parts written for young people? What do they do when memorizing scripts has become too onerous? Well, they join a senior theater company in a movement which has grown from 79 senior companies in America to over 800 in just the last 10 years. Older active adults with theatrical roots are seeking a performance medium whereby they can be physically, mentally, and culturally active and connect with a like community of talented people. They want to perform skits with lots of spunk and humor, which will entertain their audiences. And research shows that this activity benefits the emotional, physical, social, and cultural stability of older adults. Reader's Theater is the most popular form of senior theater. This particular medium uses techniques that accommodate the abilities of seniors. Our scripts feature mature characters and tell humorous, reflective, and nostalgic stories. Scripts are entirely read with the players' voices, used to influence character development. We dress in black. It makes us look slimmer. Standing in front of music stands with notebooks containing scripts, telling a story using voices, gestures, expressions, and on occasion, props and costumes. Reader's Theater helps older folks to be visible and gives them a voice. Actors tend to be between the ages of 50 and 90, with most in their late 60s or 70s. A handful of our actors are over 80. Performers range from past professionals to amateurs, but whatever the experience level, we all love the stage. Why do we do it? Well, it allows us to stay sharp, to stretch ourselves, to entertain others, and just plain have fun. And all we do is good for us in the process. And now, with more about the reACTORS, is our leader, Marie Hamilton.
Let's see if this works. So if we did what Tom said we do, and that is to just pick up our little black notebooks and read the scripts, you would all leave because it would not be appealing to you, it would not entertain you. So our learning continues as we progress through our acting. When we select a script, we read it to determine the following. What story is it telling? What type of character should the actor become? What is the pace or the rhythm of the story? And how do the actors interact with one another or not? Once we answer all these questions, we now know the direction we must take to entertain the audience. We then begin reading and rehearsing our parts to accomplish what's required. We must remember to project our voices because most of our venues don't have mics. We also need to focus on reading our lines. Now, it's easy after you read them over and over to have them almost memorized, but in doing that, you lose your place on the script, and then all the other actors are lost. And so we just keep fumbling until we get back to where we think we should be. So we don't try to memorize our scripts. Now, each of the skits that we're about to perform have a little nuance, and they're somewhat different in terms of what we're looking for and what we're doing and what we're accomplishing. And so that's what we wanted to prepare for you today, to show you the differences in the kinds of scripts and what the actors have to do within each of them. There is one thing, however, that remains a constant with all of them, and that is they're very, very funny. So your laughter is encouraged. So we begin now with our first skit. We begin with a classic 1940 skit that'll be very familiar. Then we modernize it and we pick up a theme using the same banter and pace. Our actors in this skit are Tom Urbanek and Larry Lynn. This is Who's On First, followed by computer shopping.
You know, strange as it may seem, they give ball players nowadays very peculiar names.
Funny names?
Well, you know, nicknames. Now, in the Detroit team, we have Who's On First, What's On Second, and I Don't Know is on Third.
That's what I want to find out. I want you to tell me the names of the fellas on the Detroit team.
Well, I'm telling you, Who's On First, What's On Second, I Don't Know is on Third.
You know the fellas' names.
Yes.
Well, then who's playing first?
Yes.
I mean the fella's name on first base.
Who?
The fella playing first base.
Who?
The guy on first base.
Who is on first?
Well, what are you asking me for?
I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. Who is on first?
I'm asking you, who's on first?
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
When you pay off the first baseman every month, who gets the money?
Every dollar of it. And why not? The man's entitled to it.
Who is?
Yes.
So who gets it?
Why shouldn't he? Well, sometimes his wife comes down and collects it.
Whose wife?
Yes. After all, the man earns it.
Who does?
Absolutely.
Well, all I'm trying to find out is what's the guy's name on first base?
No. What's on second base?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
Detroit has a good outfield.
Oh, absolutely.
The left fielder's name?
Why?
I don't know. I just thought I'd ask.
Well, I just thought I'd tell you.
Then tell me who's playing left field.
Who's playing first?
Stay out of the infield. The left fielder's name.
Why?
Because.
Oh, he's center field.
Wait a minute. You got a pitcher on this team?
Well, wouldn't this be a fine team without a pitcher?
Tell me the pitcher's name.
Tomorrow.
Now, when the guy at bat bunts the ball, being a good catcher, I want to throw the guy out at first base. So I pick up the ball and throw it to who?
Now, that's the first thing you've said right.
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Don't get excited. Take it easy.
I throw the ball to first base. Whoever it is grabs the ball, so the guy runs to second. Who picks up the ball and throws it to what? What throws it to I don't know. I don't know throws it back to tomorrow. A triple play.
Yeah, it could be.
Another guy gets up and it's a long ball to center.
Because.
Why? I don't know, and I don't care.
What was that?
I said, I don't care.
Oh, that's our shortstop.
Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to fast forward to the year 2000. And at this point, Costello is shopping for a computer. Now we're going to use the same type of banter and pace. And in doing that, just listen to what this discussion might sound like.
Ring, ring. Ring, ring.
Super duper computer store. Can I help you?
Thanks. I'm setting up an office in my den, and I'm thinking about buying a computer.
Mac?
No, the name's Lou.
Your computer.
I don't own a computer. I want to buy one.
Mac?
I told you, my name's Lou.
What about Windows?
Why? Will it get stuffy in here?
Do you want a computer with Windows?
I don't know. What will I see when I look at the windows?
Wallpaper.
Never mind the windows. I need a computer and software.
Software with Windows?
No, on the computer. I need something I can use to write proposals, track expenses, and run my business. What do you have?
Office.
Yeah, for my office. Can you recommend anything?
I just did.
You just did what?
Recommend something.
You recommended something?
Yes.
For my office?
Yes.
Okay, what did you recommend for my office?
Office.
Yes, for my office.
I recommend Office with Windows.
I already have an office with windows. Okay, let's just say I'm sitting at my computer and I want to type a proposal. What do I need?
Word.
What word?
Word in Office.
The only word in office is office.
The word in Office for Windows.
Which word in office for Windows?
The word you get when you click the blue W.
I'm going to click your blue W if you don't start with some straight answers. What about financial bookkeeping? Do you have anything I can track my money with?
Money.
That's right. What do you have?
Money.
I need money to track my money?
Well, it comes bundled with your computer.
What's bundled with my computer?
Money.
Money comes with my computer?
Yes. No extra charge.
I get a bundle of money with my computer? How much?
1 copy.
Isn't it illegal to copy money?
Microsoft gave us a license to copy money.
They can give you a license to copy money?
Sure. Why not? They own it.
They do? Then they don't need mine.
Oh, just one more thing to remember. When you want to turn your computer off, you have to click on Start.
So I can tell that some of you have had some frustrations with computers, and you probably still do. But that's what it would sound like. So the upkeep, the banter, and the pace makes that skit funny along with the subject matter. So our next skit. Our next skit has the actors portraying well-known personalities. Characterization here is extremely important, as is the pace, which in this skit is established by our narrator. So our actors are Tom Mooney, Leroy Koopman, and Ruth Fisher. This is a quiz for Forrest Gump.
The day finally arrived. Forrest Gump dies and goes to heaven. He is at the pearly gates, met by St. Peter himself. However, the gates are closed, and Forrest approaches the gatekeeper.
Well, Forrest, it's good to see you. We have heard a lot about you. I must tell you, though, that this place is filling up fast. We have been administering an entrance examination for everyone. The test is short, but you have to pass it before getting into heaven.
It sure is good to be here, St. Peter, sir. But nobody ever told me about any entrance exam. I sure hope this test ain't too hard. Life was a big enough test as it was.
Yes, I know, Forrest, but the test is only 3 questions. First, what 2 days of the week begin with the letter T? Second, how many seconds are there in a year? And third, what is God's first name?
Forrest leaves to think the questions over. He returns the next day and sees St. Peter, who waves him up.
Now that you've had a chance to think the questions over, tell me your answers.
Well, the first one, which 2 days in the week begins with the letter T? Shucks, that was an easy one. That would be today and tomorrow.
Forrest, that is not exactly what I was thinking, but you do have a point. And I guess I did not specify, so I will give you credit for that answer. How about the next question? How many seconds in a year?
Now that one is harder, but I thunk and I thunk about it, and I guess the only answer can be 12.
12? 12? How in heaven's name could you come up with 12 seconds in a year?
Well, shucks, it's got to be 12. You got January a second, February a second, March 2nd, April.
Hold it. I see where you're going with that one, too. And I see your point. That is not quite what I had in mind. But I have to give you credit for that one, too. Let us go on to the third and final question. Can you tell me God's first name?
Sure. It's Andy.
Andy? Okay, I can understand how you came up with your answers to my first two questions, but just how in the world did you come up with the name Andy as the first name of God?
Shucks, that was the easiest one of them all. I learned it from the song. Andy walked with me, Andy talked with me, Andy tells me I am his own.
Run, Forrest, run through the pearly gates.
Lord, give me a sense of humor. Give me the ability to understand a clean joke, to get some humor out of life, and to pass it on to other folks. As Mama always said to Forrest,
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get next.
I do understand, though, that the quizzes do change, so if you were memorizing the answers, that won't help. In this skit, it was literally ripped from the headlines. Well, not quite. It was, however, a column in our local newspaper. It was transformed into a script and adapted by Tom Urbanek. This time, the actors are having a phone conversation, and that must maintain a certain pace, and it requires that they not interact with one another because they're on the phone. It's quite a challenge, you'll see. Our actors are Marie Hamilton and Ruth Fisher. This is called One Ringy Dingy.
ring, 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 ring.
Dr. Zucker's office, this is Charlene.
Hi, this is Tracy Beckerman.
I'm sorry, there's no one here by that name.
No, I'm Tracy Beckerman. You didn't let me finish.
I don't understand. Why are you calling for yourself?
I'm not. I'm calling for Dr. Zucker.
Oh, she's not here either.
Well, when will she be back in the office?
Who?
Dr. Zucker.
Oh, she's not here right now.
Yeah, Charlene, I got that.
Well, that's funny. My name's Charlene, too.
My name isn't Charlene. It's Tracy. Tracy Beckerman.
I'm sorry, but there's no one here by that name.
Oh, whatever. Can you just tell me if Dr. Zucker will be back today?
I'm sorry. I can't give you that information.
Is it confidential?
No, I just don't know when she'll be back.
Will she be in tomorrow?
I don't know. I'm not here tomorrow.
Okay, can I leave a message for her?
Who?
Dr. Zucker.
Oh, well, of course.
Can you tell her I'm calling to get the results of my blood work?
Sure. So when did you have it done?
Last week.
Got it. And who did the blood test?
Dr. Zucker ordered it. A nurse drew the blood.
Did you want to speak with Dr. Zucker?
Yes.
Would you like me to leave a message?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, my notes show that your name is Maisie Deckerman. Is that correct?
No, Charlene, it's Tracy. Tracy Beckerman. Beckerman.
Well, you don't need to get snippy.
I'm sorry. I'm just a little frustrated over the fact that you're not understanding me.
Well, I'm sorry that you're not having a good day. I'm doing the best I can. This is my first week on the job. Well, in fact, this is my very first day.
Oh, I'm sorry, but you sound like a trainee.
Oh, I am. I got fired from my last job. Something about not having good listening skills. Can you believe that? I've heard everything you've said.
How about not having any listening skills?
What?
Oh, nothing. Look, Charlene, we've gone round and round in this conversation for a while now. All I want is for Dr. Zucker to call me with my results. Can we agree on that?
I think so. Well, what's your phone number?
It's 555-1330.
What area code?
This one.
Which one?
The same area code as Dr. Zucker's phone number, 269.
Okay, I've got it.
Thank you, Charlene. By the way, where did you work before you got this job?
Oh, at a local restaurant. They had a lot of problems due to reservations getting all messed up.
Don't tell me. Did you handle reservations there?
Well, yes. But who wants to work in a place where things get all messed up all the time? I was relieved to be out of there. But at least handling reservations was way better than being a waitress. That was the worst.
Why do you say that, Charlene? Some women actually enjoy waitressing.
Well, it was okay, but I learned that people really get upset when their steak is prepared rare instead of well done, or vice versa. And your tips, well, they really suffer when you bring the wrong meals to their table. And adding up their bill wrong, oh, that's another thing that aggravates restaurant customers. Well, but hey, they were honest mistakes.
I can understand why waitressing was not for you, Charlene. So you took a job in healthcare. I hope it works out well for you.
Oh, I'm sure it will. You know, I thought about becoming a nurse. But if you make mistakes, people could get hurt. Besides, you have to study a lot to be a nurse, and that's not my cup of coffee.
You mean not your cup of tea?
No coffee, I don't like tea.
Okay, Charlene, I have to go. Thanks for the conversation. It's been enlightening.
You're welcome. Goodbye, Maisie.
Oh, never mind. Goodbye, Charlene.
Check your mic. See if it's on. In this skit, the narrator defines the character and directs most of the story. You'll find a totally unexpected ending. It is written. Oh, I'm not going to tell you. Okay. Our actors in this skit are Tom Urbanek, Tom Mooney, Ruth Fisher, and Leroy Koopman. A trip up north.
Pat and Mike met in kindergarten and became great friends. They attended elementary school together, were classmates in middle school, and both graduated in the top 10% in high school. Pat was the more serious student. He graduated from the University of Michigan in engineering. Mike was more fun-loving, so he chose a college known for its party environment. He earned a degree in marketing, taking 6 years to do it. He figured taking 10 to 12 credits per semester was enough. His fraternity activities and dating dozens of co-eds took plenty of time. Pat later became a manager at Ford Motor Company. Mike became a very successful sales manager at Victoria's Secret. They rarely saw each other after college, but through Facebook, each learned that the other was an avid skier. Both had ventured to Aspen to ski at various times, so they made plans to head up to northern Michigan for a ski weekend in February. This would provide them a great chance to get caught up on each other's lives. They met at Pat's Bloomfield Hills home after work on a Friday, loaded up Mike's van, and headed up north. After driving for 2 hours, they got caught in a terrible blizzard. As they saw no motels or hotels, they pulled into a nearby farm and asked the attractive lady who answered the door if they could spend the night.
I realize it's terrible weather out there, and I have this huge warm house all to myself, but I'm recently widowed. I'm afraid the neighbors will talk if I let you stay in my house.
Oh, we understand. Would you be willing to let us sleep in the barn? If the weather breaks, we'll be gone at first light. We greatly appreciate your kindness.
The lady agreed, offered them a couple of blankets and pillows, and Pat and Mike found their way to the barn and settled in for the night. Come morning, the weather had cleared, and they got on their way. They then enjoyed a great weekend of skiing and chatting about old times. About 9 months later, Pat received a letter from an attorney. It took him a few minutes to figure it out, but he finally determined that it was from the attorney of that attractive widow Mike had met on the ski weekend. He called Mike to discuss the attorney's letter.
Ring, ring. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Mike, this is Pat. How are you? Say, do you remember that good-looking widow from the farm where we stayed on our ski holiday up north about 9 months ago?
Oh, yes, I do. How could I ever forget that beautiful lady?
Say, Mike, did you happen to get up during that night, go up to the house and pay her a visit?
Yes, I'm a little embarrassed, but I have to admit I did.
And during your time with her, did you happen to use my name instead of your name?
Oh, now I'm really embarrassed. Yeah, buddy, I'm afraid I did, but why do you ask?
Well, her lawyer just contacted me to say that she died and left me her farm and $2 million estate.
Yes, I know you were all going there, weren't you? You really were until the very end. So that's how we can surprise you with some of the endings. Our final skit is one that challenges our actors to stay in character while the audience finds each line pretty humorous. Another important challenge for our actors is to pause for laughs, as you've seen. or repeat their lines without slowing the pace of the skit. Our actors are Larry Lynn, Ruth Fisher, and Tom Mooney. Wayside Chapel.
I think you'll find the next skit very interesting. You see, it has been around for quite a while.
Please wait. I've learned something about this skit, which may cause you to avoid it and then go on to the next one.
But why? We've rehearsed it and it's ready to go.
But you don't know its history. Let me tell you. Let's see a show of hands if you remember Jack Parr. Yeah. He was a Tonight Show host on NBC before Johnny Carson took over. Well, back in 1960, his show, which was taped in the evening but shown on TV at 11:30 p.m., used this very skit on the show. But the next day, Jack learned that the NBC censors thought the routine was offensive, so they cut it out of the taped shown on network TV. They did it without warning Jack, and he was so angry that he quit the show and walked off that very night. Anybody remember that? Come on. No? The material was taken off the air by NBC censors, so it just may be unsuitable for this audience.
What do you folks think? This is a pretty hip group, so let's do it.
Okay, but don't say I didn't warn you.
It'll be fine, folks. Let's go. Here is Wayside Chapel. In the days when you couldn't count on a public facility to have indoor plumbing, an Englishwoman was planning a trip to Germany. She was registered to stay in a small guest house owned by the local schoolmaster. She was concerned as to whether the guest house contained the WC. In England, a bathroom is commonly called a WC, which stands for water closet. She wrote the schoolmaster inquiring into the location of the nearest WC. The schoolmaster, not fluent in English, asked the local priest if he knew the meaning of WC. Together, they pondered the possible meanings of the letters and concluded that the lady wanted to know if there was a wayside chapel near the house. A bathroom never entered their minds. So, the schoolmaster wrote the following reply.
Dear Madame, I take great pleasure in informing you that the WC is located 9 miles from the house. It is located in the middle of a grove of pine trees surrounded by lovely grounds. It is capable of holding 229 people and is open on Sundays and Thursdays. As there are many people expected in the summer months, I suggest you arrive early. There is, however, plenty of standing room. This is an unfortunate situation, especially if you are in the habit of going regularly. It may be of some interest to you that my daughter was married in the WC. It was a wonderful event. There were 10 people in every seat. It was wonderful to see the expressions on their faces. My wife, sadly, has been ill and unable to go recently. It has been almost a year since she went last, which pains her greatly. You will be pleased to know that many people bring their lunches and make a day of it. Others prefer to wait until the last minute and arrive just in time. I would recommend your ladyship plan to go on a Thursday, as there is an organ accompaniment. The acoustics are excellent, and even the most delicate sounds can be heard everywhere. The newest addition is a bell, which rings every time someone makes an offering. We are holding a bazaar to provide plush seats for all, since many feel it is long needed. The current wooden seats have holes in them. I look forward to escorting you there myself and seating you in a place where you can be seen by all. With deepest regards, the schoolmaster. Ladies and gentlemen, we do hope you enjoyed our performance. Let me tell you something about the reACTORS. Sponsored by the Commons of Evergreen and affiliated with Holland Civic Theater, the reACTORS have been performing since 2008. Today, the actors have diverse backgrounds, skills, and talents. We enjoy performing for audience who appreciate good humor, believing that laughter is healing. Rehearsals are based on a confirmed performance and typically run for several weeks. Scripts may be written by members, while others are sourced from online sites, libraries, or books purchased from Art Age publications. Where have we performed? We have performed in Ottawa, Kent, Allegan, and Muskegon counties. Our venues vary from community theaters, churches, nursing homes, class reunions, retirement communities, and community groups. This theatrical group is honored to have been asked to perform for an audience of over 300 for the third consecutive year for Laugh Fest, a national organization that brings comedic talent to venues throughout Southwest Michigan in an effort to raise money for the Gilda Foundation, which serves those affected by cancer. The reACTORS welcome newcomers who enjoy all aspects of theater: directing, acting, writing, searching for scripts, supporting each performance, and having fun. For more information, contact Marie Hamilton. Now is the time for asking questions of any of us. I think we have less than 10 minutes. No.
I'm going to leave you alone.
Other questions? Should I say it? Well, I'm just curious as to what your sponsorship by Evergreen Commons and the association with the Civic Theater, you know, how that really translates into reality, shall we say.
The Commons of Evergreen is our place that we use for rehearsals and perhaps helping us make some copies of scripts and things. So they do provide us a place to rehearse. And they provide us a lot of support and for inquiries from people who are interested in booking a performance. The Holland Civic Theater does virtually the same type of thing for us. They also provide us with assistance in any type of support that we need, scripts or a place to rehearse, or also providing us with booking details. We're featured in their playbill, so that helps to people to know a little bit more about us.
Next over here, what is the time commitment in the sense of scheduling your events versus other events and time for rehearsals?
Well, we'd like to schedule typically one event per month. And that way it gives us at least 3 weeks to prepare, to find the scripts that we need, which we tailor to each of our audiences. It's depending on whether it's a class reunion, and we can interject some type of humor in that respect. So when we have a performance scheduled, then we ask our members who's available for that particular performance. And that way we find out how many male actors we have, how many female actors, and then we would select our scripts according to the number of cast actors that we have. So it's about a 3-week commitment, and then the day of the performance as well.
We schedule about 12 performances a year because, as you've read, this is such a health-giving exercise, and we are so robust that in the past we have scheduled as many as 3 performances in a month. And that creates problems when we try to do too much. So, and sometimes we get calls at the last minute, are you available in 2 weeks? And our answer is no, we want to give you a good performance, so please give us some time. We just had a call from South Haven asking if we could perform there at Christmas time, and we're already booked at Christmas time. So we said, no, we can move it into March. We don't like to drive to South Haven in January and February for obvious reasons. There's a good chance we won't get there. So we prefer a little notice. If we have 3 or 4 weeks notice and we're not overbooked, we'll gladly schedule your performance.
I have a question. How many scripts do you think you have all together?
Oh, well, we started in 2008, so we have quite a library of scripts. And really, we will dig back into the archives and look for something that we feel a particular audience might enjoy hearing. But we do try to find new material. That has been a challenge for our Laugh Fest performances, because in performing 3 years in a row, the audience does expect different material and different type of entertainment. So we have always had to keep our scripts pretty up to date and new, because we keep the program for each of our performances. And so if we perform for a group perhaps last year, we will look to see what we performed, and we will not perform that again in the second performance we do for them. Some, however, some skits, like these 2 guys, are requested. And so we may need to do that more often than others, but we try to provide the variety and the diversity in scripts.
You should know the Wayside Chapel story. We found, Larry and I went to Germany on a river cruise. We took our wives too. And they actually used that skit aboard ship on the river cruise somewhere in Germany, I don't remember. I brought it back and did what George W. Bush said. I did the Google, and there I found the story about Jack Parr and the fact that he actually quit the show in 1960 because they censored that skit. They thought it was too much for television. Boy, we've come a long way.
We have time for maybe one last question.
I'd just like to add, that my parents had an old 78 record in Dutch with that very story about the Wayside Chapel. And I have the record, and I have it digitized somewhere, and I don't understand all of it, but I do remember, and I know that it's about a wayside chapel / water closet.
Good.
We're out of time, I believe. Let's thank the reACTORS one more time, please.